What's up guys, my name's Hymart, and in this video we're going to be going through the top 5 shaders I've ever used. If you enjoy, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the video. Goodbye. Before I start, I want to say these shaders are in no particular order. I just picked out the 5 best ones that I like and I'll be going through them. So the first shader in our list is KUDA Shaders. All these are going to be linked down in the description below, and this shader is quite a high performance one. You'll get some pretty decent FPS no matter what PC you're running these on. The water, it's got this nice gradient feel to it, and that's why I really prefer this one over the other shaders on the list. The water in this is quite spectacular. It just gets darker and darker as you go down. When you're inside the water, it is pretty amazing. It's got this blue hue to it, and I just really like that about this. It's also got the default kind of glare and all the shadows like all the other shaders on the list do. It doesn't have the annoying streaks of sunlight and the camera tint that the other shaders on the list have. I do think that kind of helps it. It makes it a lot easier to play normal Minecraft. And yeah, the main reason this got on the list is because of the water. It looks really nice. And so let's move on to the next shader. Okay, so the second shader on our list is the Sushi Shader version 2. This is an edit of Chocopic shaders, and it just adds a bit more light to it because Chocopic Shaders is quite a dark shader. The water in this is quite gloomy. It changes with biome, which I like. So it's quite swampy in the jungle, and in beach biomes that aren't jungle beach biomes, it's a lot bluer and it has a nice hue to it. As you can see, it's got a nice blue hue, and you don't see all the effects underwater, so that's really nice. As I said, this is an edit of Chocopic Shader to make it a lot more light. So in the shadows, it is still really dark like Chocopic's default, but outside the shadows it is a very light shader. So yeah, this is the reason why it's second on my list. It's a lot lighter than the other shaders on the list, so use this if you're in like a PvP environment maybe. Faction servers, it'd really help out when you have to have a lot of visibility. So yeah, let's go on to the next shader. Okay, so the third shader on our list is the Wisdom Shader. As you can see by that, it has got quite a little blur as you move around with this one. The water, I really like the water on this shader. It's a lot more randomly mapped, so it looks quite a bit more realistic. The waves just flow better. This does take up quite a bit of your machine's performance though, so I would only use this shader if you have a high-end system. If you look at the right side of the screen here, you can see there is a little bit of camera dirt as well, and that is quite a nice tweak they've added to this one, other than the default Wisdom shaders in version 1. The sun also does really nicely reflect off of the water. If you look at sand as well, sand will really demonstrate what this shader is all about. If you look directly at the sand, it's really bright, and if you don't, it sort of dims down at places if you're out of the sunlight. Or let's see, yeah, if you're out of the sunlight, it does really dim down. It's got quite a lot of realism to it, but it does take up a lot of performance, and that is why this is number 3 on our list. I would use this if I had a better PC, but currently my PC is a bit, you know, underperforming, especially with this shader on max settings. So yeah, this is number 3. Only use it if you have a good PC. Let's move on to the next shader. The number 4 shader on our list is SEUS version 4.0. This shader tries to keep the original Minecraft textures around, but it does add this kind of glint and the reflection of the sun onto the water, and I really like the kind of default style that's going for SEUS. If you look at the sun, there is quite a bit of glare. This one doesn't have any blur, and I kind of like that. It is a very high performance shader, so I'm probably going to end up using this one in one of my series at one point, just to make it look a bit nicer when I'm recording. And yeah, it's just a very standard shader, but it is high performance. There are ultra and blurrier versions of this shader available, so that's why this is number 4 on our list, because it works for any kind of system, no matter what spec it is, and you can add extra effects if you do desire. It is quite a dark shader in the dark spots, so I would recommend upping the brightness on your game a bit when you are using this. But yeah, this one's number 4, and let's move on to number 5. Okay guys, so the 5th and final shader on our list this week is Sildurs High Shaders 1.2.2, and these really speak for themselves. They've got a nice warm feel, they've got this kind of yellow hue on everything. That really gives Minecraft a kind of homely feel, and the water is pretty flat all around, but it does have a nice glint to it. It's nice and pink in the sunset here. At daytime, it is bright enough to see everything. So if you look at daytime right here, it is bright enough to see, even in the dark shadow spot. This This doesn't have the kind of, how do I describe it? The kind of blocky shadows that all the other shaders have. It is a lot more smoothed out at the corners. The shaders on every single block, not just the solid blocks, things like grass as well. Lava gives off this nice orange glow, and it is just all around a lovely shader to use in any survival playthrough, and this is why it's number 5 on our list. I'll probably gonna end up using this in one of our playthroughs in the future, but Sildurs is number 5, and Sildurs is the highest rated on this list. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.